I already work full-time. Do I really have the energy to start an online business? It's a question that keeps a lot of people stuck in hesitation, staring at their laptops late at night, wondering if it's even worth trying. You're already exhausted at the end of the day. The idea of adding something else to your plate, especially something as uncertain as an online business, feels overwhelming. Maybe you've thought about it before, only to push the idea aside because, let's be honest, the thought of trading your limited free time for more work sounds like a terrible deal. But let's pause for a second. What if the real problem isn't whether you have enough energy, but how you use the energy you do have? Think about your job. You show up every day, put in the hours, follow a routine that someone else designed, and by the time you get home, it feels like you have nothing left to give. That's not just physical exhaustion, it's mental exhaustion from spending your best energy on something that ultimately benefits someone else more than it benefits you. If you had the option to redirect even a small portion of that energy into something that could eventually give you more freedom, more income, and more control over your time, wouldn't that be worth considering? Now, I'm not saying quit your job tomorrow and dive headfirst into an online business. That's not realistic and it's not necessary. What I am saying is that you don't need to overhaul your life to get started. The key isn't having endless amounts of energy. It's about making small, intentional shifts that build momentum over time. One of the biggest misconceptions is that starting an online business requires full-time effort from day one. It doesn't. The truth is, most successful online entrepreneurs started in the margins of their lives, before work, after work, during lunch breaks, or even on weekends. They carved out time where they could and used that time wisely. Instead of endlessly scrolling through social media or binge watching shows every night, they dedicated even just 30 minutes to building something for themselves. And those 30 minutes added up. Energy is a funny thing. When you spend it on something that drains you, it feels like you never have enough. But when you invest it in something meaningful, something that excites you, challenges you, and gives you a sense of progress, it starts to replenish itself. Have you ever noticed how you can feel completely drained after a long day at work, but if a friend calls with an exciting plan, you suddenly have energy again? That's because energy isn't just about what you have left physically. It's about what fuels you mentally and emotionally. So if the thought of working on an online business after your day job makes you groan, maybe it's not that you're too tired. Maybe it's that you haven't yet found a business idea that excites you. Because when you're doing something that genuinely interests you, it doesn't feel like another chore. It feels like something you get to do, not something you have to do. Of course, let's be real. There will be nights when you're just too tired to do anything extra. And that's okay. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be on every single night. What matters is consistency over time, not perfection in the moment. If you set a goal to work on your business 3 times a week for an hour, that's still progress. If you can only manage 15 minutes some nights, that still counts. The small steps matter more than you think. Another fear that holds people back is the idea that it will take too long to see results. And honestly, yes, it might. But so will staying where you are. A year from now, you'll still be working full-time, still feeling drained at the end of the day. The difference is, if you start now, even in small, imperfect ways, you'll be much closer to having something that gives you options, a side income that can grow, a business that at some point might give you the choice to work less at your job or even leave it altogether. The people who succeed at this aren't necessarily the ones with the most free time or the most energy. They're the ones who started despite not having either. They're the ones who found ways to make it work with the life they already had, rather than waiting for the perfect time to begin. So maybe the real question isn't, do I have the energy to start an online business? but can I afford not to? Because if nothing changes, nothing changes. And if you're already spending most of your energy on something that doesn't move you closer to the life you want, maybe it's time to invest just a little of it into something that does.